It is 6:30 and we are calling to order City of Nevada City Council meeting for November 13th, 2024. Can we have Councilmember Fernandez read the land acknowledgement?
For sure, thank you. We acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As a resident or visitor in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria and Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as their campaign to restore federal recognition.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Klein, Vice Mayor Klein. Oh. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Ceci?
Here.
Councilmember Fleming?
Here.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Here.
Vice Mayor Klein?
Here.
And Mayor Peterson?
Here.
All members present.
Okay, and I see that our esteemed council is zooming in to visit us. Hello,
Council.
Dean.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Dean.
All right, so adoption of the agenda. Any changes, actions, comments about the agenda?
Nope.
Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move we adopt agenda.
Could we have Gabby do roll call when you do the adoption of the agenda so that we capture that?
I second.
Yes.
We skipped roll call, so we can just do it. at the
Oh, I
same
thought
time.
I did
just
roll
did
call.
roll
We
call.
just did roll call.
It was great. You missed it.
That was how.
No, we did.
Gabby read everybody yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's
Someone get Sean a granola bar.
And are you here?
I'm out.
Coffee?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for indulging me. I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm a little concerned, but we'll be fine. Okay.
We did need your guidance.
I didn't
right.
hear it.
So again, let's,
We got a motion and a second.
we got a, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. Wow. So, public comment. We're going to do public comment next. No, we're not. We're going to do new employee introductions. So, you got those names in front of you?
Yes.
All right.
I'll do better on my second chance. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. It's my pleasure to start the introductions this evening. We'll have the department heads or managers introduce their own staff as we come through. A lot of new faces, filling a lot of vacant seats. Essentially, we'll be full in basically every department except for water, wastewater, which is going through a transition of leadership and will be full hopefully sometime in the new year. So first up this evening is our new Assistant City Manager, Lon Peterson, which I know you've met and many of the community members have met. He's been with us for about 3 weeks and been at all kinds of meetings, even ones that he probably doesn't want to go to, but he's been great and super engaging with our community. You know, people ask what the assistant city manager does. We've had an assistant city manager position in the past, although it was largely the finance HR director function with the title of assistant city manager. So this is very different. You know, there's a lot of ways to describe it, but I'd say it's the intersections of innovation, collaboration, and getting stuff done. So essentially, Lon has already jumped into the deep end and is delivering on a lot of things for us that are things that we haven't gotten to yet in our strategic planning process because of capacity or staff hours or things like that. He's also a capacity builder for the rest of our staff. Many of our departments are an army of one, so and many of them are in the audience tonight. So when you know Lisa, our city planner, or Brian, our city engineer, are super talented folks, and when they need help, Lon can't be a city engineer or city planner, but he can certainly pick up some of the other administrative slack to let us keep, you know, rolling as things come in. And then thirdly, really is the telling our story. So we do a pretty good job of advancing the items that you want done in the strategic plan and just in general with the community. We do less of a good job of telling people that we did any of those things. And Lon will be our storyteller, so to speak, or our enabler of storytelling through various media. So we did a press release on his background. I'm not going to belabor the point with that, but I'll invite him up to share a little bit with the council and the community. And he's right in the back row, Lon Peterson. Come on up. You're good.
Hey. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Here we go. Hey, so just want to say two things. I loved Nevada City growing up. I would always come up here. It was just a place that was just like, this is awesome. When I saw this job description and it aligned with what I was doing, I immediately was like, I gotta have this job. I don't know why. I'm gonna try my best to get it. Boom, now I'm here. I love this place even more. So I'm really excited to be here. I like everything that Sean's saying, excited to work with the team. And yeah, so really excited. Not sure what else to say, but I love the city.
Great. Well, we're going to talk.
That's all we need.
We'll talk about how to spell your name at some point, but
Oh, the right way?
The right
Is that
way.
what you're saying?
Exactly.
Peterson?
All you Peterson
The
people.
S-O-N?
yeah, that's right. It's a thing. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Glad you're here, Lon.
Thank you, Lon, and I will hand it over to Chief Foss to introduce a couple of his officers, among our newest.
One, two. So this is always ironic to me. Cops are always the same. You could send them into the darkest house that's possibly somebody inside, and they'll go in, have no problem. They're brave and they're sure of themselves. And they say, "Hey, you guys gotta give a 5-minute speech tonight," and they don't know what to do. They panic. They fall apart. So you guys' speech is ready, right? So I'm gonna start with Cody. Cody has been with us about a year now, and he's doing awesome. He's been working night shift for about 8 months now straight, right? So during that time, what he's been leading with, what I've been pushing for our officers, we have a small department, as we know. And I think it's very important that we try to make sure each officer kind of specializes in something different. And we're really getting to there, and I'm super proud of our team now. And each one of our officers is kind of getting a little specialty, and they're moving forward with each one of them. And Cody, when he got here, I was asking him, what are you going to do? What do you want to specialize in? Cody, every single night in the log, you will see if he goes to all the hot spots in the area and he's doing foot patrol in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And that's actually by yourself, even as cops, a lot of people are like, I don't know. He does it every night. And he's leading the department right now in DUI arrests, which I think is one of the most important things for our community. We know 2 of our officers, Cody was working the night when 2 of our officers were struck by a DUI driver. So I'm very proud of Cody. He's doing really, really good. He'll talk about a little bit of his background in a moment, or you won't. You don't have to. You can just say that. But he's pretty much local his whole life, born and raised in this area, and doing great. And then Phil is our newest officer off. I think I explained this a couple times, but it's a very long process to become a police officer. So you have to go to the police academy, which is 6 months long. And then after you go through the police academy, if you complete the police academy, then you have to get hired, or in Phil's case, we put him through the academy, and then you start an FTO program, which is a minimum of 4 months long. That's field training officer. And that's where they ride with another officer through different segments, different times. It's very structured program, very difficult program, very high stress. And they ride with an experienced officer that teaches them how to become an officer on the street. So just to become a police officer, you're talking about 1 year minimum of training, which I'm an advocate for, maybe even more. It's a very important job. Obviously, we want to make sure they're well trained. And Phil just graduated from the FTO program 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so he's been on his own now working the swing shift. So that's 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. I don't know the exact days, but he's working today is one of them. So he's here with us. And Phil's doing awesome. Some of the great things about Phil, which I'm so excited that he's here for today, is Phil's background is he was with probation for a very long time. What I love about probation is probation's expertise, I guess you would say. Law enforcement, we're very, very good at finding people, catching people, putting them in jail. Probation's all about, hey, how do we prevent recidivism? How do we get them to actually not recommit or reoffend, right? to have those expertise into law enforcement is huge. Plus, having, how many years probation, Phil? 11 years in probation gives us just massive, already pre-trained. He's going to know everybody that's out there. He's going to know everybody in the community. So, and his wife's in education in our community, and Phil lives in our community. You've probably seen him on his days off. You
Got
will
babies.
see him.
I've seen him pushing babies.
He's pushing babies, and he's usually chasing babies. Because if one of them gets free, one of them likes the light bill. So, he's got 2 beautiful twin daughters. So these are our 2 newest. We have one more that couldn't make it tonight. You will see him shortly. And Phil, where his expertise, where he wants to specialize in, a lot of officers, when they're brand new, they're like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. Let's feel it out. And that's what I encourage. Phil right away was like, nope, I want to specialize in de-escalation. I want to specialize in negotiation, or what they'll call crisis negotiators. When it's something that's, how do I downplay this incident and get everybody to calm down? And we already see that with Phil. He's obviously, you can see his stature. People aren't probably going to charge him right away. So he just shows up on scene, and a lot of things will de-escalate for Phil. He's really good at it. So we're proud of both of them. You have any questions? You guys want to say anything?
Hello. Good to see everyone. I gotta get back to work now.
Well, welcome. It's great to have you. I heard a rumor, Chief, that you might be 100% staffed,
100% now. 100%. We had a couple on injury, but as soon as they're off, we.
but how long has that been since, been a while,
Never been.
I think.
As far as I know, and from the officers that have been here for a long time, it's never been the
Yeah,
case.
that's what I thought.
So we're super excited about that. We have some ideas of what we'd like to do moving forward for our officers, because now that we are fully staffed, we can do creative solutions and maybe do some creative approaches to law enforcement. But
We're happy to have that conversation with you, Chief. Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to invite your city engineer, Brian McAllister, and city planner, Lisa McCandless, to introduce our new community development technicians.
Good evening. Bethany Celio joined us, and she's working half-time for engineering, half-time for planning. She's been great. I worked with Bethany when she was voluntarily helping a lot with Commercial Street design several years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But it involved workshops in here and tons of community engagement. So I was excited when she joined our team, and we just finished a grant application today, and she's doing great, helping out a lot.
Yeah, I can add to that Bethany's doing a fabulous job. I'm so thankful to City Manager Sean Grayson and the council for including in your budget this position, because it's just helped Brian and I immensely. She's getting a lot done. She's interfacing with the community. She's really picking up on things. She's improving our processes, and she's making our website better and providing better content and instructions to people. So I'm super thankful to have her, and I'm looking forward to everything that's to come.
Thank you. Say something, Bethany.
Hi, Council. Yeah, just to echo that, thank you so much for including this position in your budget. I love it so far. It's just been a little over a month, and I feel like every day I work on something new, and it's interesting, and I feel useful. So yeah, I'm happy to keep working on things and help with improving our streets, getting housing, just all the good stuff. And in addition to improving our water treatment plant and things that the public may not know about, but that are essential to our town. So I think I've met all of you except maybe Lou, so hello, nice to meet you. And yeah, thank you again.
Great to have you, Bethany.
Side note, Lisa's been working remotely today because she has a lot on her plate, which is normal for planning, but she came in to support Bethany and Brian this evening, which we appreciate. But she also hosted our USC team that's doing an economic development plan for us this past Saturday. So really appreciate her taking the extra time to do that. Although I think she got a bike ride in afterwards, so maybe didn't completely ruin her day. Last up is Community Risk Reduction Officer Emma McClenathan to introduce 3 of his staff that he shares with Shane Kinney, our Superintendent of Public Works, and partners with our fire department to do the excellent things that the Office of Emergency Services does.
Yes, good evening, Council. Thank you for having us, and it really is a complete honor to introduce these folks to you. As you know, this department was new as of 6 months ago, or I guess it's 8 months ago, and we've grown a lot, and it's been really nice to have really qualified, really efficient, and effective folks to join me on this effort. So without further ado, this is your Safer from Wildfire team right here. I'll begin with Camille. She's been with us since April. She's the OES specialist. She really, you may see me a lot, but she does all the work behind the scenes that lets me go out and go to meetings and talk to folks and do all the public outreach, but she really brings a great skill set as well. She was a firefighter for a couple years, also has disaster response experience, and a whole other realm of interesting activities. She is an herbalist. She also kind of collects bones. She has a lot of really unique hobbies, but truly is great to have her. And since she's joined me in April, we've really accomplished a lot. And she's partly funded through that Neighbors to Neighbors grant, and she really has helped me in extraordinary ways with that grant. I'll go to Tom Patton over here. He's our fuels technician lead. Tom comes with great experience once again. He fought fire with the Forest Service for several years, also has his EMT, and he also fought fire for CAL FIRE on a hand crew for a couple years. The really cool thing about Tom that you don't hear from firefighters frequently is he has a passion for fire prevention and fuel reduction work. So it's really awesome to have him kind of being in the field and leading those efforts. I always feel confident just giving him the overview, and he can initiate that plan. So really been nice to have that. Last but not least, Matthew Griffin. He's our fuels technician, so kind of that entry-level position. Also came to us with a little bit of firefighting experience, but has really been taking initiative. So it's really cool to see that and to teach him some new skills and be part of this team. He's always willing to learn and get out there and do the hard work. So if they have anything to say, and you have anything to say?
No, hi, thank you. Thank you for the collect bones, but that is an important anecdote, so.
I hope so.
I'm happy to be here. This community is really tight. It is so cool. It's a pleasure to work here, and I'm happy to do more.
Yeah, really excited for the opportunity to start something from scratch and really make Nevada City more fire safe, because we now have the funding and the personnel to get in there and do the hard work that is going to make this town feel and be safer.
That's right.
Right. Thank you all.
Yeah,
it's wonderful to have you.
Do we have to do roll call again? Because I missed it.
I'm not sure.
I missed it too. You
How did that happen?
That's all we have this evening.
That's all you have.
We will have a couple more for you, hopefully in December or January, as their availability comes. Like the chief noted, one of his officers that's been around for about as long as these other 2 officers, but wasn't able to make it this evening. But
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Great. Welcome all of you. It's wonderful to have you. Okay, we're going to move to public comment. Government Code Section 54954.3 provides any member of the public may address the city council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought forth under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. Please note that comments from the public will also be taken on each agenda item at the time it is heard. Speakers must adhere to the meeting procedures identified above. Public comment is now open. Anybody that would like to speak? Okay, I'm going to close it really fast because it's not happened in a long time. Public comment is now closed.
Except for the little ones.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Do we have anything we'd like to pull, or any recusals, or anything associated with the consent agenda?
Nope.
Nope. Do we have any public comment on any items on the consent agenda? Not seeing any, I will look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Cece.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Are you listening? Councilmember Fernandez.
Yes.
Steve's not listening.
Vice Mayor Klein.
Yeah.
And Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. So we will now move to our business agenda, and the first up is item 8, consideration of a presentation on the County of Nevada Red Dog Road, Rural 20A Underground Utilities District, and adoption of Resolution 2024-35, a resolution for the City Council of the City of Nevada City, California, authorizing a memorandum of understanding between the City of Nevada City and the County of Nevada to transfer $346,745 in Rural 28 credits. You moved up there. You're on, Brett.
Thank you. So I'll introduce Eli Larimer. He's assistant engineer with the Nevada County Community Development Agency Public Works Department. And they've got a project that involves undergrounding very close to city limits. So we're going to hear a presentation on that, and then talk about some unused funds that we have that could perhaps be used toward that project.
Well, good evening. My name is Elijah Larimer. I'm with the Public Works Department for Nevada County, and we appreciate the opportunity to come talk about the Rural 20A project. So this project is basically taking all of the overhead power lines and any other overhead utilities, AT&T, Comcast, Suddenlink, and undergrounding those along the Boulder Red Dog corridor from pretty much the city limit up towards Banner Quaker. What that's going to do is toggle through these here.
If you try pointing it over here, maybe.
Right there.
Maybe.
Just click it.
I'll click it for you.
All right, thank you.
No, you
There we go.
So the first phase of this project is to be undergrounding from Boulder up to approximately Pasquale with whatever funds we have currently. After that, we have future phases that could include Pasquale up to Quaker Hill Crossroad, and then Quaker Hill Crossroad up to Red Dog, Banner area there. We've already established our undergrounding district. That went out to our Board of Supervisors. They approved that. So now we are getting ready to go into the design phase with PG&E. They're going to be the design lead on the project, but we're going to be working hand in hand with them all the way through that process. A little bit about, next slide, perfect. So this is our undergrounding district. We're going all the way from pretty much where city limit starts all the way up there to Banner Quaker Crossroad. And then to talk about a little bit about what Rule 20A is. So the California Public Utilities Commission put together a program where there are funds that are put into an account for any of the local agencies that have those services provided. So Nevada City, Grass Valley, the county, we all accrue funds, and those funds can be used for undergrounding projects that we kind of select where they happen. PG&E does their own undergrounding projects where they find fit, but then we can kind of use this money to direct where we think the most benefit would be for the communities. So we're using that money up there on Red Dog because it is a major corridor for egress, ingress during emergencies. A lot of people use that road. As part of that project, we're also trying to get a little bit more room. We're widening out the road, so we're going to get some bike paths and then some room for the pedestrians to get through.
It's scary up there on the bus.
Oh, yeah. So that's another big benefit we're going to get out of this. As well, the intent of the project is to make it safe. When we had these last couple major storms, we had a lot of power lines down throughout the county, and there was a lot of conflict with our public works departments going out and being able to clear roads. Whenever we had power lines and different utility lines on the road, we had to wait for the utilities to come clear those lines before we could get people in and out. So that's one of the big things that this is going to help mitigate. This project really doesn't have any impacts on utility rates. That money's already been put into those accounts for folks, so nobody's going to be seeing any rate hikes or anything from it. And then finally, we wanted to come present it to you guys because we're going to be right out your back door, and we wanted to kind of let you know what's going on so that you're not surprised by that construction when it does come to happen. It's a few years out yet. We still have some design to do, so we won't be seeing construction until probably 2028 or somewhere around there. But we will be done at the very latest by 2033.
Oh my God.
So we just wanted to get out in front of it there. So that's what I have.
Yeah, just to add, that's the program, Rule 28 program has changed, so they no longer allocate the credits to our agencies, and the 2033 deadline is all projects have to be done by that time. But even though they've changed the program, the PG&E is still doing undergrounding, and I think our community has more need for undergrounding than many other communities. So we'll be lobbying to get more undergrounding projects done. It's just it'll be different. It won't be called Rule 28. It'll be just a different program administered by PG&E. So any other questions on the presentation? We have item 2 here on our.
Okay, that's what I'm waiting for. All right.
When will it start when it starts? When will people notice?
That'll be around 2028. We don't have a hard deadline or a hard start date yet. We'll work through that with PG&E as we get the design progressed. And as we start getting near that date, we'll start putting out updates on our Nevada County website, our Facebook pages, things like that. So we'll try to keep everyone in the loop.
Thank you.
Well, the project itself is on the other side of city limits. Is there any way to know if customers here in the city will have outages while that's going on?
They've made it pretty clear to us that there won't be any outages during the process. They're going to be working in parallel pretty much. They'll have the overhead lines, then they'll do their undergrounding at the city. Well, those are still intact,
Yeah.
and then they'll do a switch over, so there shouldn't be any.
Was that PG&E that was assuring us of that? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Daniel?
Who's, so PG&E's doing all this work, or are there other contractors involved?
PG&E will be the lead on it.
And they'll
so-
hire Mountain,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may subcontract some of it, but.
Well, this is great. I mean, we've gotten some Rule 28 money from the county, I believe, in the past, and we're, giving it back. And this is just sort of strengthens our partnership with the county, which I'm a big fan of, Also,
That's item 2. So go ahead.
Okay.
Because I wanted to hear that. We need that explanation.
Which
The
explanation?
money part is the
Money part.
second part of
Okay.
this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
presented on the first.
All right, you can talk about the money part, and then I'll finish my comments later.
Just one item on the first part, for those that are at home saying, hey, the county didn't go to Pioneer Community Energy and Nevada City did. There's no conflict there because we only receive our power. They're our power provider, so they purchase the power and sell it to us in Nevada City and Grass Valley. But PG&E remains the the transmitter of the power. So there, whether it's underground or on the power poles, it's still PG&E. And so that there's no conflict at all with that. And whether the county ever went to Pioneer Community Energy or stayed with PG&E, this project will continue because they'll continue to be the train that takes the power along the lines.
So I'll talk about the remaining credits. We used to accrue these credits every year, and then we'd keep track of the balance. And when the balance was high enough, we'd come to council with a list of projects, and city council would prioritize which projects. So fortunately, a lot of expensive work was done when it was less expensive. Now it's just crazy how much it costs to underground. But we were able to get all of downtown undergrounded through the 70s, and so we've worked our way out from downtown. And since the program ended, our current balance is $346,745. It's really not enough to initiate a new project. PG&E's cost now is, what is it?
I believe it's about $1,600 a foot.
Yeah, so it's not enough for our own project, and we'll work in other ways to leverage PG&E for projects to be done through other programs. But so we're presenting an option here to consider transferring that back to the county, because actually some of this credit came from the county to help us with a project up at Upper Broad Street that we didn't have quite enough money for. So that's the proposal. It's not enough money for us to do our own projects, so we're presenting an option to give it back to the county so they can use it before 2033.
And we have to commit the funds by the end of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So
That's why you're here.
it's give it to the county or it goes away is really our options.
Okay, thanks. Doug, did you want to go ahead?
Well, you know what my question was, is like, I'm just making a comment that it's a good use of this money, it's a reciprocity. We have this good relationship with the county now, and this is just another, sign of, our good faith, and the county does stuff for us, we do stuff for them, and it all works out. And what is the impact, though? Let's just talk about this. This is part of the county's effort to strengthen evacuation routes and things like that. What is this going to mean to us now that we're going to have, we still haven't dealt with our evacuation route when people are going to be coming through our city to evacuate off of that area too. So that's a whole other can of worms that we're going to have to deal with at some point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not today.
Not today. Yeah, at some point, I said. That means not today. You ready?
You got nothing.
you got
Thank you,
nothing.
Mr. Mayor, for asking me.
Well, what is the
While you're
total
talking.
estimated project cost?
So right now, the county has 5.6 million, and then this additional money will help us get a little bit further on that project. Like Brian said, we've stopped accruing funds, so now it's expending all the funds that we have to try to get as far as we can. And then if the California Public Utilities Commission comes up with a similar program, which is, it sounds like that's kind of their intention, then we can get funding for future phases.
Sorry to see this program go. I underground did a lot of stuff. It was a good program because it doesn't cost us anything. It's PG&E money, really. And so interesting. Okay, we'll go ahead and anybody else? Public comment on this item? Oh, our planner's coming.
I do have a comment. Thank you for including the bike infrastructure. We really need it. One thing that comes to my mind is for future projects with the county, the potential for sort of following the density where people live. And so looking at where R1 zoning is, like on Ridge Road and Banner Lava Cap Road, those roads are super dangerous to ride bikes on. And as e-bikes get more popular, which they should to meet our climate goals and reduce our greenhouse gases, we need to provide that infrastructure for people to ride safely. So I'm super thankful that you guys are including it on this project, and I just hope to see some improvements in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other comment? Okay, with that, I believe we're looking for approval of the, let's see.
It's a resolution.
It's a resolution.
I move that we receive the presentation from the applicant, review, approve, and authorize the sponsorship fee waiver and special, wait, is that right?
That is wrong.
No, that's not right.
It is.
Wait a second.
It is receive the presentation and adopt the resolution.
Right, there's no street closure.
That's not, yeah, not your fault.
Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Got a first and a second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Cece?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yep.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Klein?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
And Elijah, thank you for your presentation. Well done. We hope to see more of you as this project comes forward, and you'll keep us up to date.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Thank you,
Although
Brian.
hopefully I won't be in this chair. It's 20:30.
Okay.
I just calendared them for 2027 for a project update. And now we can talk about street closures. My apologies for that recommended action.
That's the next one,
all right.
right?
That's all right.
Okay, item number 9, consideration of the South Yuba River League, Citizens League Circle, request for monetary sponsorship in the amount of $2,500, fee waiver for city facility use, and special event street closure request for the 2024 Wild and Scenic Film Festival.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Eric Dunn, the film festival. Is your title director now? That's correct. Film festival director. So
Moving on up.
yeah, change in seats. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this is a similar request that they've had in previous years for the sponsorship. The fee waivers are associated with their use of this room during the film festival. It's a really great location for how they're using it. And then they're going to continue the street closure, but move it from York Street to Pine Street between Broad and Commercial this year. So moving down one segment. They've outgrown York Street, as it were, which is a pretty small segment there. And then the new request is for a food truck to be parked in front of the Nevada Theater related to the film festival. And I'll let Eric share with you what the event is, what the sponsorship is, what the food truck's all about. And I would note that while we're requesting this in 2024, it actually will be for the 2025 Film Festival because it carries us into February of next year. Eric, take it away.
Thank you, Sean. Greetings, esteemed city council members. I'm happy to be here once again on the eve of the 23rd annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival, just 3 months away. As you're aware, Wild and Scenic is a beloved community event that's put on by Circle, the South Yuba River Citizens League, named in honor of Circle obtaining Wild and Scenic designation for 39 miles of the Yuba River. The program helps support the work of Circle throughout the Yuba River watershed. The festival now brings in about 7,000 attendees, with about half of those being Nevada County students taking part in our education program.
Wow.
The festival now has an economic impact of over $700,000 to the region and serves as a funnel to bring visitors to the region during what is traditionally a slower time of year. This year will be our 3rd time hosting in February after decades in January, which we've received a lot of great feedback about that change. And we're excited to be hosting over 100 environmental and outdoor adventure films and bringing dozens of filmmakers and inspiring, impactful stories from around the globe to our little neck of the woods here in the foothills. Our 2025 theme is Wild at Heart, which speaks to the power of wild places to spark inspiration, compassion, and understanding of the world around us. Once again, the fest is set to return to both Grass Valley and Nevada City, with our focus on Nevada City, where we'll be screening at 3 venues, Nevada Theater, Odd Fellows Hall, and the Stonehouse, as well as returning here to the council chambers, where we host our Earth Justice Activist Center, as well as Pine Street, as Sean mentioned, where we've had such a robust response from local organizations that want to take part in the Enviro Fair that we were wanting some more space so we can accept everyone to that opportunity. As always, in addition to the stellar film programming, we'll be offering many free community events, including engaging workshops at the Activist Center, excursions to local trails, an art exhibition in collaboration with the Nevada County Arts Council. We're also happy to be presenting a unique dispersed art exhibition all around town featuring the art of Kevin Bird, and it's going to be displayed in local businesses like Kit Kadizzy, Communal Cafe, Winnie Superette, the Chamber of Commerce, and many others. We'll also have intimate coffee talks hosted at Three Forks, budget-friendly locals night, youth workshop on creating stop-motion films. We'll be hosting a panel on wildfire resiliency, multiple dinner and a movie night experiences at the Stone House, and panels exploring topics like aging in the outdoors and the health impacts of climate change and so much more. And so thank you all again for all the support that the city has provided over the years. We're really grateful for that. And with the theme of Wild and Hard in mind, we kindly request that you take action to continue that support by approving these actions.
Thank you very much. Any public comment on this? Back to the council. Who would like to go?
Well, I'm very glad that you've overgrown York Street and are on Pine Street. I'm a little concerned that we're now doing so many things on Pine Street that we're having an impact on the business. Have we checked with the Chamber of Commerce on how those businesses are affected?
Part of their process is they have to notify the businesses that are in there, that's in their application.
Mm-hmm.
They're all still there.
Thank you.
Did you talk to those businesses, and did you get any flack?
We've not. I mean, that is part of the notification process to complete things. So we came here first for that approval, and then we go to them to notify them.
Okay.
But, you know, from the shopkeepers and people that I've spoken with, you know, we do bring in a fair amount of business during that weekend. I know that that can be a mixed bag for those impacted by a street closure. But overall, we see it as a net win to bring more people into that part of the city instead of kind of off into the alley there on York Street.
Yeah. That's how I see it, too. I think this is the third time I've been able to say yes to this, and I'm happy to. Every time I just want to point out how lucky we are that we're a city of this size and we have two legit respected film festivals and how completely unique that is. Yeah, thanks for holding your events here and bringing business to the downtown restaurants and shops and everything that Circle does. I'm a big supporter and believer in your mission, and I appreciate that you're here, and I'm proud to support it this time too.
Thank you.
Hi, Eric. Congratulations on your new position. That's exciting. Not so new, maybe, huh?
I took over as director in April.
Okay.
So,
all right. So you've been there a few minutes.
It's either been like years or 2 days. I'm not sure.
That's about how time is going right now. Thank you for giving us the context of the economic impact to the region. I think that's really important. This is one of my favorite events that we host. The festival's fantastic. I always meet people who are visiting our town, who fall in love with our town, really neat, interesting people, filmmakers, and the like. And that's always super, super fun. Happy to support this and just love the event.
Cheers.
Yeah, Eric, hi. Great event. Happy to be there. Happy you're here. Happy to check it out because I always find something that I enjoy. I try to get my kid to go just so he can learn something. That doesn't work all the time, but, you know, I try. Thank you.
Could you say something about the food truck? It got missed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're working with one of our main sponsors, HHMI, Howard Hughes Medical Institute. Their production studio has a film this year that's about the inventor of Impossible Meat, and really his arc, he was a really world-famous kind of scientist who did a lot of like HIV/AIDS research, moved into this thing where he created Impossible Foods and then has moved on. And so they've expressed interest in doing an activation around the screening of their film, which will take place at the Nevada Theater. We likely will only end up needing one day where the food truck would be there, and it's still to be determined when exactly that'll be programmed. So that's why the dates are listed as that stretch per Sean's suggestion, but it'll likely just be one day that we would have that presence there.
Great. Yeah, thank you. I think, we're thinking a lot about our restaurants these days and events when they bring in food, our restaurants can't handle everybody that comes, and where's that balance and everything else? But I know you're sensitive to that. I get that.
Without doubt, yeah. We take pride in driving traffic to local businesses. But, it'll be really just around that film screening and an opportunity for people to engage in that way.
Makes perfect sense.
Mayor, if I may, when you're done.
Go ahead. I'm not done.
Are they going to be serving Impossible Meat? Is that what they're going to be serving only?
I don't think just like scoops of it. I mean, not totally in my hands, but I will advise for something a little more creative than that, or not just squeezing it into people's mouths. Still a process in progress.
Sure.
Yeah. So, well, I thank you for being here. Very articulate. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Very clear. Great. This town loves a party. We love events, and this is a big one. And it's really great. I also appreciate how the festival travels. There's a lot of people who know about Nevada City because of the way that festival moves through the country. So great work.
And also the accessibility to youth, how accessible you make it
really
to our
important.
young people is really fantastic.
I'll just add that I've been really proud. I've seen numerous folks who've applied for jobs at Circle in the past year or two who first learned of it by attending a wild and scenic school program, and then have been applying to work for us recently. So,
but it comes from the community and is the community, and it's a wonderful thing. So thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to approve this.
I'd like to take a second stab at. I'd like to do it properly this time.
Okay.
Receive a presentation from the applicant, review, approve, and authorize the sponsorship, fee waiver, and special event closure, street closure requests per the submitted applicant Circle.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Ceci?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming? Yes. Councilmember Fernandez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Klein?
Yes.
Mayor Peterson?
Yes, of course.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, moving right along. Number 10, wow. Introduction to a future policy change, considering a future possible policy change, should read probably, considering a pilot allowance of a biochar kiln and specific requirements for special permit authorized burning as identified in section 8.10.080, paren 5 in the Nevada City Municipal Code. Evan.
Invite Evan and Chief Goodspeed up, and yes, this is what we're discussing tonight is a proposed policy change for the city, and so we're not under any specific time crunch to do this. There's not a direct matter of urgency, and so to make sure that we give as much opportunity for the community to be engaged in this space. This has been something that's been taken up by the Fire Safety Advisory Committee. It's coming here now. The Fire Safety Advisory Committee will also hear the outcome of tonight's meeting next Thursday at their meeting. And then if you are so inclined, it'll come back to you at your December 12th City Council meeting. Just gives us more opportunity for council and community input on this change. So our current defensible space vegetation management ordinance is chapter 8.10 of our municipal code. It has a general prohibition against open burning, essentially of any kind. The exceptions to that are really, a barbecue on your porch, but that's got to be natural gas or propane. The only place you can really burn solid fuels is in the barbecue pits and in Pioneer Park. So essentially all other kinds of burning are prohibited. As you know, we updated that code right after I got here in 2022 with the assistance and guidance of our Fire Safety Advisory Committee, and then subsequently in 2023 updated a complete rewrite of that code to match the Public Resource Code, or the CAL FIRE standard for defensible space, as well as the county's standards for road hardening in our adjacent areas to the city. That ordinance and all of the predecessor ordinances effectively had a prohibition on burning since, in its current form, since 2012, but even before that. There's been a number of requests and presentations to the councils over the years to modify that or do other things, including requests from co-housing to allow for specific exemptions to do burning on their property. In 2022, the council declined such a request, but also recommended that the city consider some kind of program in the future that might allow for us to re-enter that space. And what we're really talking about is there are not a ton of these places, but there definitely are places in the community where it's either impractical or economically infeasible to move the fuel to a place like a green waste container or a green waste dumpster, or to chip it or things like that. And so this is not a solution to just burn everything. This is a solution targeted at those places where it can't be. Co-housing is one of those type of environments, not where the homes are, because they got a wonderful, pathways and places and collect their leaves and, get them to composting and things like that. But their back 40, as it were, has a lot of downed trees, very large dimensional wood that's got a ton of mass and, creates a fire risk. So, our strategic plan calls out fire. We didn't number them, but obviously that's the existential threat, the number one threat to our community. And despite the need to have something that is that intermediate step, we do need to be conscious of the potential for fire to escape the control of the people that are burning. And while not as risky, smoke is a tremendous impact on our community, and we see that when people are outside the city are doing burns and the smoke comes in the area. We've had the unfortunate occurrence of smoke coming into the community on event days and for a variety of other factors, and so we take all those things into consideration. There's a section of our code today that allows for a health and public safety exception. So what we're talking about tonight that will be presented is not a revision of the ordinance. It is for you to give us the go-ahead to bring back to the next meeting a pilot that would utilize that permit as a health and safety special permit application. The Fire Safety Advisory Committee's had several meetings on this related to a biochar kiln for an exception to this open burning. And I'll turn it over to Evan to share the committee's recommendations, parameters for use, all that kind of thing. But I would note that this is a consensus support from the fire department, Chief Goodspeed, OES, and Evan, myself as the city manager. That doesn't mean you have to do it, but we believe that something should be done in this space, and if this is the right way and the right time for Nevada City, that would be great. I would note, if you read the newspaper today, there is a description of what Grass Valley is doing on the county property off of LeBar Meadows Road. That is called a carbonizer. It is essentially a very large, very hot oven. It doesn't burn wood, it just heats it up so much that it's a crematorium, essentially, for trees instead of remains. That is different than this. This is burning wood to end up in the same result, which is carbonization, the charcoal at the bottom. But this is not analogous to what you read in the newspaper today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Evan and the chief to jump into what the recommendations are.
Yes, thank you, council. So what's before you is a very targeted approach to allow burning within city limits with lots of provisions and guidelines and guardrails. These guardrails were drafted in collaboration with the Fire Safety Advisory Committee. We had this on our agenda for 2 consecutive meetings, and they did recommend we bring this to the council with these parameters set forth. When I think of prescribed fire, right, or just fire in general, we're in a fire-dependent landscape. This landscape needs fire. It was part, here way before we were in a much frequent cycle. So this is just putting a tool in our toolbox, and the citizens and residents of Nevada City a tool in their toolbox that might be more economically feasible and more practical, and in some instances more environmentally friendly. So a little bit about the device itself. It is a metal kiln. So the big difference between a kiln in this device and a burn barrel is that it is sealed at the bottom. So it actually reduces airflow to produce more of that biochar amendment that you can then add to soil to help with nutrients and grow different plants and things like that. The parameters and guardrails that are in front of you, it would require a permit. It would need clear written approval from the Northern Sierra Air Quality Management District. Notification to neighbors within 1/4 mile. I know we've had talks about how we can really refine that as well, but this I think is a good starting point to make sure that the community's with us in this process. We don't want people to feel like they're blindsided, and that is partly too why we definitely want to bring this to you before it is under further consideration if you decide to move forward. There are pretty extensive site considerations with really making sure that there's cleared area around that kiln, that there's no branches around, that there's adequate water supply, and notifications, and that there is no special events or draws to town during the day of use. And also just prior approval. I've been working with the applicant, you could say, for this, and have viewed this site and the considerations, and I definitely, with these guardrails, it definitely seems very feasible and a very limited impact on the city. The large portion of what the Fire Safety Advisory Committee recommended, and I was happy to see, is parameters for success. You see those listed out for you as well, with biochar produced as one of them, impact to neighbors as another, and amount of vegetation cleared. I really do think that these parameters will give us a really good litmus test for moving forward and further policy changes or just growth of this particular device. So with that, I'm happy to take any of your questions. Chief, you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I'll just say that this is a good option to open burning. Nevada City years ago had an open burning policy, and I think it was the smoke that eventually did us in. It's neighbor disputes. So, we had come back to the council a couple times with options as far as limiting to certain days or certain parcel sizes. But I think this is, especially for the co-housing, this is a good tool for them to use, and I think it's a good opportunity to see how this equipment works. And like Sean said, there's limited places in the city, but co-housing is one of them, and I think it's a great place to start.
So this would be, as written, this would be a 1-year pilot using those metrics. We'd come back to you, back to the Fire Safety Advisory Committee, and then ultimately back to the council for your direction in the future with that information. Tonight, all we're asking for is your input to us, any community input through public comment, and if you want to hear more, then directing us to bring it back at the December 12th council meeting.
Thank you. Let's do public comment. Theo, you want to speak to this? This is Theo Fidinaris, who do not know, a member of the Fire Safety Advisory Committee.
Yes, but I live in town, and so that's why I'm here. Thanks for considering this. I really appreciate city staff, all the work you guys do. It's been great. It's going to be really helpful for our property if this was able to pass and we could pilot this. I'm hoping to get if I'm able to get a permit in the future, to get some experts on site and potentially make it an educational event, but I'm not committing to that. specifically right now, but I think it'd be really helpful to smooth the way toward fire being used as a tool, and hopefully, my hope, and I don't know if it's the city's hope at all, but that it could be a slippery slope to the city being able to use fire on their land for some of these larger parcels, which are just hard to manage for the city. And I know there's Bill Jacks with in Chico, and he's helped Quincy get a fire program going, which is spectacularly strange that was able to happen. And there's the city of Truckee has a permit program, and the city of Auburn has a permit program for burning within the city, so it's not unprecedented in the area. I appreciate the city's looking for a durable solution. There's some pretty tight constraints here, but I think for a pilot, it's really smart that the city's really going. I love that it's being talked about twice, getting the input back, so I just really appreciate that cautious approach so that it can be long-term, and if it doesn't work, then we can know it didn't work. I think it's really great that there's purple air sensors in town to watch smoke in real time. And I think that's a real big boon than in the past. And just one thing, I'd consider maybe vague language, maybe, I don't know, possibly about wet leaves and branches. Just trying to holler back to the vagueness earlier that was talked about. I know in the air district, their protocol already says you can't burn certain things, but I think it might behoove us to voice that again, or at least in the conversation with the city when you get a permit. But thanks for considering it.
Thank you, Theo. Any other public comment? Okay, what I'd like to do is go to the Fire Safety Advisory Committee members first, as we tend to do with our committee work. So, Councilmember Ceci.
Well, first of all, where else in the city would we try this? I think it's important that it not seem to be just something we're doing for the co-housing. So where else would this be a useful project or tool?
Anywhere that's large lots, anywhere along the environs, the backside of the tech center, out off of Gold Flat Railroad, in that area where you have larger lots where the houses or the buildings are towards the frontage, and then you have kind of open space in the back where it's very difficult. Anything where we have drainages, hilly terrain, our property, we own Sugarloaf, but the intervening properties behind the Forest Service land that include our trail on private property, that's going in. Evan has been up with the crews that you met earlier tonight on Sugarloaf doing massive manzanita, dead downed manzanita removal. And so if that were private property, even if we had this option as a city, Evan might have been doing some of that instead of working his butt off to find a track chipper to take up there. So when we looked at it, we thought there was about 30 lots in the city as a round number where this might be applicable. I don't believe you'll have those 30 property owners interested in that, but you may have one or two more besides co-housing would be our guess.
Good. Because that's one thing that I wanted to make clear, that it's a tool for all appropriate land and lots, not just one. The other is, fire is, not going to make the bad pun on saying a hot topic, but smoke certainly is a sensitive issue for many people. Are we reaching out to them to see how they feel about this pilot project, so that we don't get a surprise notice from people, 30 people showing up saying, we never heard that you were going to do this? What are we doing to reach out to them?
Who's them?
Who's them, yeah.
The people who were so very much opposed to the last time we tried open burning that we haven't done it now for 4 years? 3?
Oh, it's been longer than that. I think we're close to 10 now.
Yeah.
2012 was when we did the full ban. We banned burn barrels before that. So the intent of this, it says neighbors of developed parcels within a quarter mile, but really the intent of that is not so much that day as soon as we're looking to issue a permit, we're going to go to all those property owners and say, hey, this is what the program that the council approved. We have an application. It's from co-housing. You're in proximity to it. These are the rules. Here's how it's going to work. We'll notify you of what days it's going to come. That may not make them happy, about it, but the intent would be to get them as much advance notice as possible, show them where it is, what the rules are, those kind of things. I can't find it right now, but we did say somewhere in here that it would only be wood that would be burned, so it's not wet leaves, which would be your smoke producing things. Done right, these devices really don't generate smoke because the heat is pretty significant. It's making the biochar at the bottom, and it's just, you're feeding it from the top, and you just keep feeding it. Done wrong, of course, any combustion can create smoke. And Evan and Camille will be the ones going out there to say hi to people and telling them about the burn, which is even better because everyone loves them.
Don't jinx it now. But I was just going to say, to that point, I've done plenty of door-to-door knocking and notifications thus far, and I would plan to do the same for this type of program.
Good, because I want to be ahead of any swell of fear that might be surrounding this issue.
Well, okay. So I just, my perspective, and it's another area where I'm overexperienced, Vice Mayor.
That's like all the areas, right?
So I understand what happened and why the bans were issued, and I understand because there was a lot of unmanaged burning. When that complete ban was put into place, we literally threw the baby out with the bathwater. Burning is a valuable, useful, and viable tool for us when it is managed professionally and well. I think about the Deer Creek south side, the drainage down into Deer Creek where the plan was done. It'd be extremely difficult to masticate down in there, or it's likely that in order to succeed, some burning will need to take place down in there. And this one I like us a lot. We're going to test it out. It is a gradual easing into what I believe will need to be, as part of our fire protection, resilience, and everything else, will need to be a re-adoption of burning in certain specific, very tightly managed conditions to make the most of our money and our resources in order to be safe. And you will note that where I was okay with this is very highly restricted. And it needs to be managed with all of the restrictions in there. The permits need to be required, and the oversight needs to occur as well. And if we do that and we start to pilot these, we can begin to demonstrate to our community the value and the safety, because we really need to do that. So that's where I am with it, and I do support this because I know Evan's going to be all over it.
Yes, please. I tease you, but I do appreciate your knowledge on this topic and many others. I wanted to say I think it's great as a pilot project, and to speak to Lou's concern, I think it's also okay to say, yeah, and in part we're doing this for this community that has asked for this. And that doesn't mean like solely, but I think it's a nice match to do a pilot project in a community that needs to take care of their property. So, yeah, Evan, you said it's another tool in our toolbox. I agree with that. We need a big, big toolbox for fire, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. Also, something else that I'm thinking about is like Lou's question, which I agree with. Like it came up, this is a little bit of an aside, but it came up a lot in the nuisance ordinance, like how do we tell people? Like how do we get the word out? I know we have Lon, and he's going to work on a communications plan. And I also see that as our role too, is talking to people in our communities and our neighborhoods and groups. So I think it needs to be a group effort, because staff can't always get to all the special interest groups or stakeholder groups with capacity and all of that. So just another thought.
This will be a great one for Nextdoor, which we we'll probably be going live with next week, and I know people have mixed feelings on Nextdoor. There's a lot of people on there.
Who's gonna run that?
We will. The nice thing about the city's part is, we don't see what people comment on there, right? Unless they call us out. But we can send messaging, and it can be very targeted to those neighborhoods. So
Evan, you're
amongst
gonna
our
take that on?
other social media platform, Evan just pointed at Lon. But it's just speaking of toolboxes, that's another tool that we're adding to our communication toolbox that speaks to very highly specific, neighborhood related issues. So I appreciate that comment.
And one additional point to that, the Fire Safety Advisory Committee has recommended that we do a prescribed fire education event too. And I could bring that to them to do this in kind of conjunction with this before we were to do an event like this. So there is more of a workshop atmosphere where people could voice concerns or whatnot, but that's been on their docket for some time and still planning that.
Sure, I'll go. This was coming up back when I was on the Fire Safety Committee so long ago, and I'm glad to see it coming here. And also, I'm really glad to see it as strict as it is. I think people who are concerned about this, their number one thing would be, is this going to be safe? And this, if you actually read the thing, it's incredibly strict. And I think that will probably help soothe people who might be otherwise concerned. I'm happy to support it. That said, a very smart neighbor of mine had a question that I'm going to present to you, which is, do you suppose there's any chance that insurance companies might see this as Nevada City making an exception to a burn ban and decide that they need to charge us more, or will they see us as us being very smart and making ourselves safer and not that tragic outcome? Evan.
Knows what the insurance companies.
Right? I'll take that in two pieces. One, the insurance industry doesn't actually regulate us based on what's going on there. They do it on actuarial tables on their losses related to fires in similar environments, and specifically within the environments that you're in. They know very little about what we actually do. In fact, we have houses that are very well hardened that have lost their insurance for no reason. They're not the house that's going to be the problem. That said, we are on track, and one of the goals is to become a certified community between the secretary or the insurance commissioner in California and CAL FIRE have a program that certify communities. And one of the criteria is, do you have regulations that exceed the requirements in a variety of different categories, home hardening, defensible space, and things like that. Believe it or not, sensible use of fire to remove fire risk is one of those things where you go above and beyond, so to speak. Instead of just saying no burning, we're going to stick our head in the sand, we say we have sensible burning to remove fuel load that can't otherwise be removed because we have a burn ban. So if we ever got to the point where we have influence on the insurance commissioner and fuel and fire insurance rates here, I think this would be beneficial to us, not detrimental.
I'm so glad I asked.
But it's not today, because we have no influence today.
Yeah, understood.
But thank you to Supervisor Hall, our supervisor, who is working diligently on that issue.
And to your intelligent neighbor.
Yeah.
Intelligent city manager too, that knew the answer.
Okay, thank you all.
Yeah, I just think it's, very forward thinking and, trying to make, some policy that mitigates, the risk while being safe. I think you can't, and you're also giving isn't the biochar go back into the soil? So we're giving back to the earth. It's a win-win.
Okay, so this one's looking for direction. I believe you've been given direction to come back with, you'll come back with some kind of permit. Is that what it is, or?
Essentially, we'll take this and it'll come back next time with any changes that might be elicited at Fire Safety Advisory Committee. We'll look at the language. Thank you, Theo, for mentioning that about sticks, twigs, wet leaves, the things that generate smoke. We'll refine that. And yeah, essentially it'll be a program, and we'll have the program application manual in there instead of the staff report.
Great.
And it comes to the Fire Safety Advisory Committee Next week, yeah.
Next Thursday, the 21st.
Yeah.
So those of you listening at home, that's when to show up.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Theo.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. We're moving right along there. City manager, council member reports and future agenda items. Sean, you're up. You want to start with the roll call? Or?
Yes. I'll work backwards. Our next council meeting is our last council meeting of the year. It's December 12th, which is a Thursday. We'll move to Thursdays because Victorian Christmas is on Wednesday. Please come to Victorian Christmas. Come to the council meeting also, but Victorian Christmas is pretty amazing. And if you come to Victorian Christmas, come into City Hall, not because we have awesome bathrooms, we do, but we also have some really cool art on the walls, which is winners of the photography contest related to Dark Skies Initiative. In January, we will be replacing those with the Year of the Neighborhood themed first installation of the City Hall Art Meets the Public Champ Art Gallery right here at City Hall. Thank you to our Public Arts Commission for leading the charge with that, as well as Lisa McCandless, our city planner. As far as the rest of the year goes, we'll have a pretty busy meeting in December, but folks watching at home, take a look at that agenda because we'll outline our strategic plan update process at that next meeting and where you'll be able to go and talk to committees or talk to the council if you have specific interests in how our strategic plan will be updated. That'll be coming at that meeting. Lastly, it's starting to get colder and it's rained today. I watched all the leaves fall off the trees, which just started changing their beautiful fall colors. You'll notice our public works crews out there for the foreseeable future, clearing the drains, getting those leaves out as they continue to fall down. And we ask that, our neighbors do the same, on their property, clear those out. If you have problems, if it's not working, your drains aren't working the way they should, reach out to us. We'll see if we can help. We'd much rather look into it now than when, it's torrential downpour and all that water's going on your neighbor's property and not in a good way. So, while you're out there, if you see our public works crews, they always love a little wave. They're always working their butt off. And now you might see our fire fuels crews out there as well. So be safe in the rain. And Dean, be safe driving in the snow. And that's all I have this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Council members, who would like to go?
I'll go. Adam and I met as our committee, whatever that committee is, Economic and Community Development.
Yeah.
Hey, there it is. Twice since the last meeting, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. The first one, the last one was on the nuisance ordinance. We had a small but wildly opinionated group in the room that shared a lot of thoughts and feedback that we will soon synthesize with city staff and bring it back to the council after the first of the year. Right? Yes. And what was the other one, Adam? Help me out here.
Short-term rental ordinance.
Short-term rental ordinance. How did that one go?
That was a larger crowd,
It was.
but an equally kind of mixed bag. There were a lot of different opinions popping off that time too.
There were a lot of different opinions. I look forward to the next one on that as well.
Yeah.
And that's it. I had my play at St. Joe's. Thanks to Gabby and the chief for coming and watching me in my process and experiencing weird theater. Chief, I loved seeing you there. It was so cool. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
I really don't have a whole lot to say because I woke up about 40 hours ago and I've been traveling ever since. So as many of you may know, I was in Buenos Aires for the International Gay and Lesbian Aquatic Association World Championships. I competed in 7 events. I got 5 medals.
Wow,
So-
that's awesome.
Bring home the gold.
And
3 silvers and a gold, yes.
Bring home the gold.
I would have had another silver in the 200 fly, but I made a technical error and was disqualified. And the lesson learned from that is when you make mistakes like that and all your planning goes down the drain, you learn and you come back and you try it again, and that's what I'm going to do.
nice. Congrats.
There's no metaphor there for anyone. That's it. Oh, no, the Trans Day of Remembrance is coming up later this month. And one of the members on the team that I was on is trans, and he is under a great deal of stress. So please keep those folks in mind in the coming months and years.
And thank you for mentioning that. There is an event for those who want to honor that day next Saturday at the Unitarian Church
Right.
in Grass Valley at 3 p.m.?
I think it's 3. I think
3
you're
p.m.
right.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yeah, if you're a news buff like me, you might have noticed we just had a national election. And the results indicate a significant shift in our values as a country, to the point that I've heard a lot of concern from friends and neighbors here in town. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to reiterate our values as a city, and you can read along on the city website. Embracing and promoting diversity, a commitment to public service, ethical and transparent behavior, fiscal responsibility, preserving and enhancing our community, excellent responsive customer service, a commitment to our community as a whole, and support for and commitment to a safe, just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive Nevada City. And that's us. That's Nevada City. Those are our values, no matter which way the national winds are blowing.
Well said.
Nice.
That's all I got. You got complete. And Doug?
I'm good.
Oh, it's on.
I want to go home.
So, several things. Who would ever miss Golden Shoulders semi-annual or not Thanksgiving concert on the evening after Thanksgiving at the Miners Foundry?
I've heard only good things.
I'll be there. I also personally would like to thank the Onyx Theater downtown, which gave me the pleasure of introducing Noirvember and Double Indemnity. It's great. Vice Mayor Klein was there, but I stumbled across Councilmember Fleming having dinner at. You must have thought, what is he dressed up like? When I saw you at Likas that night, you were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
You look good.
Thanks. But it was great. I got to introduce the movie. It was wonderful. The Noirvember series is fantastic. I have a fan over here in Evan that, these are your noir movies from the 40s and 50s, and they're just spectacular. So I appreciate that very much. And what a great job Spencer Keller does in curating that, and Celeste in providing us really high quality cinematic entertainment in town, which is all part of our super cool, vibrant arts scene, which so much makes us who we are. Yes, there's a lot going on this week, and I don't know. I work where I stand. I've always done that, and I'll keep doing that. And that's what I do, and I don't know any better, and I don't know how, but it's all about values. We are a very strong council. We are a very strong community. Nothing's going to change that. So,
If I may?
yes.
Adam, thanks so much for bringing up the election. Thanks for reaffirming our values. And just my take on that is I do believe, especially in this last year, that those values remain aspirational.
Okay. All right. Got to aspire to something. So with that,
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
anybody opposed? Thank you, Dean.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Dean.
Dean. You were awfully quiet tonight.